I still.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how we doing this week? We're bringing you something a little different again. We are trying to expand our catalog. We would greatly appreciate it if you guys would tune in, enjoy the show, and let us know what you want to see. Do you want us to stick to the nukes, to the goose pimples, depths of despair? Otherwise, this week we're checking out a new channel for Matt.
Yeah.
Newer content. I've checked out a couple of the videos. I actually enjoy the way this guy narrates his videos. He's entertaining. It is called List 25. There will be a link to the channel in the description. We are checking out 25 strange urban legends worldwide.
So there might be a chance I don't know some of these. There's also a good chance I might know all of them. I'm a nerd.
Are you sure you want to ring these bell? I'm sure there's some of you that want to.
Yes, there's people into nerds. Nerds are hot now.
Right. It's 2024, not 1994. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into 25 strange urban legends worldwide. How many of these urban legends do you know? You know what's not an urban legend, Matt?
What?
Hitting that like button.
Oh, no.
Hitting that subscribe button.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing the video.
Mm-hmm.
And jingling your bell.
Hitting the bell icon to be notified when we upload. That's not a legend.
Nope. It is definitely not an urban legend. It's right there. Right there on your screens, just like we are right here on your screens.
Listen, you could click it right now. Prove it.
Click it. You know, that brings me back to an ad from the late 90s, early 2000s. Click it or ticket. For buckling your seatbelt.
Yeah, I remember those. Those were on like a bunch of the DVDs I had.
All right. Let's get to the 25 strange urban legends. Are we ready?
Yeah.
I can guarantee you know one or two urban legends. They're the staple of every sleepover and pajama party, every preteen's entry into the world of ghost stories and horror. Today, I'll tell you everything you wish you never knew about 25 of the strangest urban legends in the world, from horrifying encounters with the Skeleton Queen to stories of the Caluche ghost ship. And let me tell you, by the time we get to the legend of the ankle-slicing car thief, you'll be rethinking your late-night drives. I'm Mike with
Okay, maybe I don't know a bunch of these. All right.
Strange urban legends worldwide. 25. The 999 phone charging myth.
I think I've heard of that.
If you live in the UK, you might have heard this one. A popular urban legend goes that dialing 999, the UK's emergency number like our 911, will charge your dying phone. This rumor might have started because emergency calls bypass low battery shutdowns, but it's nothing more than a myth. It doesn't even make sense. I mean, how would a phone call magically charge your phone's battery? Calling emergency services for a dead phone wastes resources and could put someone in real danger. So, keep a charger handy and leave the emergency lines free for true emergencies. 24. The Phantom Canoe of Lake Tarawera.
I can get it.
Have you ever heard stories of phantom figures appearing right before a disaster?
Widespread.
In 1886, on Lake Tarawera in New Zealand, just days before a massive volcanic eruption, both Maori and European eyewitnesses saw a ghostly Maori war canoe filled with warriors gliding across the water. The Maori were filled with fear and believed that these souls were journeying to the volcano, a gateway to the afterlife. The event became quite famous, and several artists created artwork depicting the apparition. In fact, one of the eyewitnesses apparently sketched the spectral canoe. The drawing's whereabouts are unknown. The phantom canoe has not been seen since, but some believe its return would foreshadow another tragedy. 23. The Drop Bear.
The last one was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's just... That would be wild. It's like you see, like, you know, a mountain exploding essentially, and then a war band of like 20 Maori warriors, like big, beefy Samoan, Polynesian, like natives, all in the war paint stuff, and just going towards it. It's like those guys are badass.
Yeah, no shit.
I heard of
Visiting the
Drop Bear.
Outback? Huh. You better watch out for the drop bear. The scary koala cousin likes to stalk, hunt, and kill unsuspecting people from the eucalyptus trees. Unlike its docile cousin, the drop bear is a bloodthirsty predator. Hilarious prank, right? Well, try telling that to an Aussie who swears by the drop bear's existence. You might even get advice on deterring them with Vegemite or forks. 22. The Ropin. Are you aware of the countless legends all over the world that refer to animals that seem to be surviving dinosaurs? And I'm not just talking about the Loch Ness Monster, that may or may not be a plesiosaur. The remote rainforests of Papua New Guinea have tales of the Ropin, a creature that is described as a bioluminescent bat or pterosaur with leathery wings that occasionally swoops down to snatch prey. Credible accounts of the Ropin date back centuries, with sightings reported as recently as 2015, and in just about every single one of them, the Ropin's wingspan is about 20 feet. Makes you think, doesn't it? 21. The Luz Mala. The Luz Mala is known as the Evil Light in South America and has a dark history rooted in folklore and superstition. Tales of this mysterious glowing orb, or flickering flame, are widespread across Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay, and it's often seen at night in rural or marshy areas. Many people believe it's a malevolent spirit that lures travelers into danger, while others think it's just a lost soul, unable to find rest. 20. The Rooster of Barcelos. The Rooster of Barcelos is a cherished Portuguese legend that tells the tale of a pilgrim wrongly accused of theft just about to face his execution. But he claimed that a cooked or roasted rooster would crow to prove his innocence. Miraculously, the rooster crowed, sparing the pilgrim's life. Now a national symbol of Portugal, the colorful Barcelos rooster represents luck, justice, and divine intervention. 19.
25 strange urban legends worldwide. These are really obscure legends.
Some of them are, yeah.
I really like this because these are ones that the first 6 here I've never heard of.
I know about drop bears. They're pretty. It's literally just Australia, Aussie natives just here to like screw with you. It's like, oh yeah, watch out for them. Because, if you don't know any better, you're like looking up at every tree like, But the Ropin I've heard of vaguely. I didn't know about the rooster one. I didn't know the rooster was like so important to Portugal.
Well, that's the thing about this list. Things you don't know, things you never thought you'd want to know, now you know.
Mm-hmm. The Legend of Inés de Castro, the Skeleton Queen. The tragic tale of Inés de Castro, a 14th century noblewoman, blurs the lines between what is historical fact and what continues to be an urban legend. What is certain is that Inés got involved in a forbidden love affair with Prince Pedro, heir to the Portuguese throne. Unfortunately for the young lovers, their secret romance was cut short when Inés was murdered by Pedro's political rivals. Later, after ascending the throne, Pedro had his vengeance. According to the legend, he exhumed her body and forced the entire court to kiss her skeletal hand in a macabre act of devotion. The Fountain of Tears in Coimbra, sometimes lined with a reddish hue, is also said to be eternally stained by Inés's blood and tears and is a popular tourist destination for young lovers. 18. The Wandering Jew of Seville. The Wandering Jew of Seville is about Juan Latino.
Knowing medieval nobles and kings, I 100% believe that he did exhume her body for something that petty.
Yeah. They did a lot of weird shit back then.
Like, pilgrimage sites of being like, here's the saint's skull on display. Get this money.
The ancient world was
That wasn't even ancient. That was just a couple hundred years ago.
It's still a very interesting time in our history.
Yeah.
A Jewish shoemaker who, according to folklore, mocked Jesus as he carried the cross to his crucifixion. Now, it might just be me, but that name sounds a bit too modern for the inhabitants of Jesus' Jerusalem. However, as punishment for the act, Juan Latino was condemned to wander the earth for all eternity, carrying the burden of his sins until the second coming. According to some, his ghostly figure still roams the streets of Seville. Or I guess, wanders it. 17. The
That's not funny, don't laugh.
The legend of the Nukkalavi comes from the coastal
Nukkalavi,
regions
yep,
of
I know that
Belgium.
one.
The monstrous creature is said to look like a grotesque fusion of a man and a horse. It only emerges from the
It's
sea
not.
during stormy nights, and always brings a wave of disease and death along with it. Its horrifying appearance, which includes skinless flesh and glowing
Yep, that's
eyes,
better.
has struck fear into the hearts of countless brave sailors who have been fortunate enough to survive an encounter with the beast and live to tell the tale. 16. The Russian sleep
Can you
experiment.
pause it real quick? So he missed a few key parts. It's not just to Belgium that the Nukkalaviv is a thing. It's most areas in the North Sea. So it's been a documented entity in England, Wales, Scotland, the Channel coastline, and it's depicted as a massive, skinless fusion of man and horse in the most literal sense of it's a skinless human rider on a skinless horse fused where you would sit, and it has one eye in the center of the horse's head, and it's supposed to bring pestilence and plague wherever it goes. Hit the mic.
You know what's really weird about that? Like the depiction of the horse and the man. If you put wings on it, it looks like the Jersey Devil.
Maybe a little bit.
Like some of the depictions of the Jersey Devil.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird. Like these cryptids and shit with the urban legends. You can kind of see where some of these cryptid may have found their roots.
Yeah, cultures bringing their monsters with them.
Yeah.
Like even in Argentina, the will-o'-the-wisp, there were non-Spanish immigrants who came to Argentina. And the will-o'-the-wisp is pretty commonly English-Irish folklore.
So is the Jersey Devil Scottish?
Potentially, I don't remember what most of the immigrant layout of New Jersey was. No, English. Jersey.
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, I definitely know what's not a cryptid and what's not an urban legend, and it is that subscribe button. Hit the like, the subscribe, leave in a comment. I know you guys are afraid, just like most people, to leave the first comment on a video. But interact with us.
Be cringe, say first.
See, there you go. Hashtag ring that spell.
No.
You want a safe comment to leave? There you go.
There have been several
I
real
like
sleep
this story.
deprivation studies, from teenager Randy Gardner staying awake for 11 days to radio DJ Peter Tripp's 201-hour walkathon. But for some reason, the terrifying urban legend of the Russian sleep experiment continues to capture our collective imagination. According
It's
to
more or
urban
less
legend,
just a
5
creepypasta.
Russian prisoners were forced to stay awake for 15 days using an experimental gas. They eventually descended into madness, paranoia, and self-mutilation. However, despite its popularity, this gruesome tale is said to be just that, a tale. 15. The Silver Train of Stockholm. The unfinished Kumlinga metro station in Stockholm was built in the 1970s and never opened up to the public. The spooky location is said to be haunted by the Silver
enough
Train,
Swedish to say
a
no,
ghost
you
train
said
that can
that right.
appear and disappear without warning. According to those who have seen it, the train is full of ghostly passengers who can do nothing but stare out of the windows, their faces illuminated by pale ghostly lights that nobody else can see. 14. The Vanishing...
I've actually heard about that one.
Really?
I've heard about that. There was... I gotta find it. There was a group of paranormal investigators that actually did a paranormal... I think we saw that in one of our videos. Where they were doing an investigation at that train house, at that train station.
I thought that one was in England.
Maybe we didn't react to that. I'll have to find it. But there was a group of paranormal investigators that actually got into that train station and did an investigation. And you could hear what sounded like a train passing. You could hear the horn, like the train horn on the tracks. You could hear like the train engine. But then it faded as it came in. And it was just, you could tell watching the video that the vibe changed with the ghost hunters too.
Mm.
They were expecting a train to come into the station. But because it was never open to the public, very few people ever rode that train, even as an experiment for it.
Hmm.
But that train station, I'll have to look for that. I'll have to find it. But yeah, I've heard of that.
Hotel room, aka Vanishing Lady. I'm sure you've heard of some form of this urban legend wherever you are. Different versions of the Vanishing Hotel Room have circulated for over a century. It tells the story of a woman who falls ill while she's traveling with her daughter. The daughter leaves to find some medicine, and upon her return, discovers that both her mother and their hotel room have vanished without a trace. No one remembers seeing them, and it's as if they never existed. In spite of the fact that it's been debunked as a myth, the Vanishing Hotel Room, in all its different versions, continues to fascinate all of us, possibly because of our shared anxieties when it comes to people disappearing without a trace. 13. The Ghost Ship of the Northumberland Strait. The ghost ship of the Northumberland Strait has been appearing in waters between Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick for centuries, if you believe that sort of thing, of course. The spectral vessel, normally described as a burning ship with glowing sails, is said to appear out of nowhere during storms.
Oh.
It usually disappears just as quickly. While some believe it to be the ghostly remnants of a long-lost ship, others attribute its appearance to natural phenomena, like mirages. 12. The Baselika Devil. Baselika, a lake located on the Finnish-Russian border, is known for its treacherous waters and unpredictable weather. To add to its bad reputation, the lake is also believed to be inhabited by an evil creature known as the Naki, which is said to draw, sometimes pull, unsuspecting people, usually children or those traveling alone, to their deaths in the dark waters of the lake. The shape-shifting creature can appear as a beautiful horse or a beautiful human, but of course its true form is that of a disgusting and obscene monster. 11. The Lorelei.
That's pretty generic as far as lake monsters. Like, it's a pretty common folklore warning, stay away from the water if you can't swim.
Yeah, that sounds like a very...
Because the Selkie in Celtic folklore is a horse that sits by the water's edge, draws people near it, and then, tries to let people get on its back, in which case it drives into the water to eat you. Sirens are a thing. In Russia, there's the Ryzolka, which is a kind of monster that's supposed to be a young, beautiful women that draw people to ponds and stuff to drown them.
Yeah, for this last one, this list has been pretty good so far, but for this last one, I feel like there should have been a little more detail.
Yeah, it was
very vague.
Yeah.
And I suppose most urban legends, because they are legends, you're not going to get on-point information, and vague is probably the best way to keep the legend alive.
Or sometimes it very well could be there's just too much differentiation in a local area about the legend.
Yeah, it's true.
One town might tell it differently than another, even just a few miles away.
Yeah.
30 feet or 132 meters over the eastern bank of the Rhine River
Sounds
in
familiar.
Germany, the Lorelei Rock
What?
has been entwined with a captivating legend for centuries. According to the legends, a heartbroken maiden named Lorelei was betrayed by her lover and threw herself into the river. Some believe she transformed into a mermaid or siren, forever bound to the rock, where she now lures unsuspecting sailors to their watery deaths on the rocks below. 10. The ankle-slicing car thief. Have you ever heard about the ankle-slicing car thief? This is one of the more modern urban legends that go around, and it seems to be particularly popular here in the US. It's about a sinister figure who hides underneath unsuspecting victims' cars and then creates noises to get them to climb out. Once the victim steps out to investigate the noise, the thief strikes, slashing their ankles and leaving them helpless as their vehicle gets stolen. While it sounds like something that can definitely happen, there are no credible reports that anything like this has ever happened, and the legend has been largely debunked by fact-checking websites like Snopes. 9. The Baby Train. The urban legend about the baby train has roots in various parts of the United States,
The what?
United Kingdom, and Australia, and basically claims that a town's population boom is all thanks to a train whistle that wakes couples up every morning, too late to go to sleep again, but too early to get up, which usually prompts the usual extracurricular activities. It's a cheeky explanation, often followed by a wink and a nudge. But is there any truth to it? Well, probably not. Despite the legend's popularity, there's no evidence to suggest that there's a correlation between train whistles and birth rates. 8. The Black
Coincidence, not
The
correlation.
legend of the Black Volga developed in Poland during the 1960s and 70s. The story goes that this mysterious black car, sometimes described as red, was driven by evil characters who roamed the streets at night. Some believed the Black Volga was a front for organ theft. Others claimed the car's occupants lured children with candy, only for them to disappear forever. The legend's popularity has waned in recent years, but it's very symbolic of the fear people felt under a harsh regime where those in power could do whatever they wanted in the dark. 7. The Blue Star Tattoo. Have you ever
Just
heard of the Blue
stranger
Star
danger.
Tattoo?
Yeah.
Well, this urban legend has been around for a while. And let me tell you, it's gotten...
Yeah, I know. This one is an interesting one. This one I've heard of.
Yeah.
This was a big thing with celebrities not too long ago.
Originally, it was a scary story for parents, warning them about temporary tattoos laced with LSD being handed out to kids. Then the story took a darker turn and got linked to human trafficking. This version claimed that criminals use tiny blue star tattoos to mark their victims, usually behind the ear or some other easy-to-miss spot, unless you know where to look for, of course. While both versions ended up raising awareness about important issues, there's no proof these methods are being used. 6. The In the Air Tonight urban legend. You might have heard the In the Air Tonight urban legend if you're a Phil Collins
I don't think
fan.
LSD can
They
go
say
through
the
skin,
song is
can it?
about a drowning, that Collins
Can?
witnessed a bystander who could have saved the victim but chose not to. Over time, the legend has become more elaborate, with some even claiming that Collins confronted the bystander during one of his performances. Wild, right? Luckily, the story is a complete fabrication. Phil Collins himself has said the song was about the turmoil he went through during his divorce. It's still a great song, though. Dun, 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 dun. I am not a drummer. I don't know if you could tell. I probably fooled a lot of you right there. 5. The Elevator Game. The Elevator Game is a disturbing internet legend that is particularly widespread in South Korea.
wow.
It taps into our everyday experiences, creating a scenario where a routine elevator ride becomes a gateway to another dimension, or, even more unsettling, a place to summon evil spirits. The legend says there are specific steps to follow, but these instructions can change depending on who tells it. If you do them
Wordplay is just
right,
hell.
supposedly, the elevator takes you to another world. Of course, there's no evidence that this is real, and it's said to be very dangerous. People who try it supposedly risk facing terrifying things, way worse than just being scared. 4. Hantu Tetek. If you visit Malaysia, you might hear about the Hantu Tetek, whose name literally means breast ghost. The Hantu Tetek is a female ghost, if you haven't guessed by now, and if the legend is to be believed,
that's a
she smothers
picture.
men who disrespect women or engage in bad behavior with her enormous weapons of choice.
Oh, what
3.
the hell is that?
Balete Drive. Balete Drive in Quezon City is known for its creepy balete trees and the ghostly figure of the White Lady.
Okay.
Well,
I didn't know about that one. I get it. I understand the idea.
so would those be weapons of mass destruction? Ladies and gentlemen, if you've made it this far in the video, thanks for sticking with us. This is actually quite entertaining.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Breaks up the nukes. You know, we've tried with other things. You guys haven't liked it. Hopefully you'll enjoy this.
According to local legends, a woman tragically died here in a car crash and now roams the streets late at night. Descriptions of her vary. Some say she's all in white with a blank face, while others describe long black hair cascading down a shadowy figure. She likes to block the road, and if you take your time, she might just hitch a ride in your empty back seat. What if you have passengers in the back? 2. The Caluche. The icy waters off of Chiloé Island, Chile, are said to be haunted by a legendary ghost ship known as the Caluche. However, the ship is more than just a wreck. According to urban legend, it's a living entity that likes to draw sailors in with its eerie music and what seems to be a festive party on board. Depending on who you hear the legend from, the ship is manned by the restless souls of sailors who drowned at sea, or kidnapped sailors who have been transformed into monstrous creatures. Either way, I'm pretty sure this legend served as some sort of inspiration for the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. 1. Hoia Baciu Forest. Transylvania might be famous for vampires, but if you want to experience what...
Alright, we've made it to number 1 on list 25 strange urban legends worldwide. Matt, how many of these have you heard of?
5, roughly? Like, there's some pretty obscure ones. Like, Yeah, to flat out, I don't know a whole lot of like Latin American ones, so there's that. Southeast Asian ones as well. It's just unfortunately not something I know a lot about. So it's been informative.
Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have known how many of these? Let's roll back. Let's run out number one. List 25.
He feels like, head to the Hoyabachu
This
forest. This remaining
We all
forest
know
is
about
full of
this one.
twisted trees
Oh.
that claw at the sky and has been the subject of more than one urban legend. According to one, a young girl vanished here years ago
Yeah.
and reappeared several years later with no memory of what happened during her absence. Others tell of a shepherd and his entire flock who were swallowed by the woods, never to be seen again. And as if that weren't creepy enough, you should know that there's a clearing in the woods where nothing grows. Oh, and there was a UFO sighting in 1968. Science can't explain all the weirdness. All in all, I'd say more Blair Witch
Yeah,
Project
yeah,
than
that's the
Wrong
one I'm
Turn,
thinking
but
of.
who knows? I'd actually probably rather stay out of those woods. So, what are some urban legends from your neck of the woods? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and check out our social medias, including my personal ones, links in that description. And if you liked this list and weren't too creeped out, I guess, you need to check out 25 urban legends that turned out to be true. So, some of these turned out to be debunked. Not here. So, urban legend has it that if you click here,
Maybe that's one we'll check out, huh?
Maybe, yeah, that'd be a nice sequel.
Ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude this week's festivities. We have gone through the 25 most obscure urban legends that either one of us have never known about. We know a couple of them.
Yeah.
The last one, though,
It-
Destination Truth did 2 episodes from there. And one of them, his cameraman got thrown off his chair. The guy never went back to the channel.
I think it was like 5 feet.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a small distance for a grown ass man to get thrown.
And he was bigger than me. He was a relatively big guy. So, all right. Let us know what you think of that down in the comments. We are going to do the follow-up to 25 urban legends that turned out to be true. Stay tuned for that in a few weeks. I think we're going to hit a couple more nukes in between here and there. So, hope you guys have a good week. I know we've had fun this week.
Yeah.
Hope all is well in your end of the woods. I'm getting lost on how to end these, so, tickle Matt's bell.
Okay.
Just tickle his bell. Like, he's getting anxious. He wants you to tickle that bell.
Nah.
We want to hit that 500 subscriber mark.
We do want to do that.
Realistically, we want to hit that 10,000 subscriber mark.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, 500 is the goal. I think that's a relatively acceptable number. We've been out here for years with you guys, and we're just doing it for fun. I don't want to hit the 30-minute mark, so we're going to cut out and see you next week.
Yep.